What this is saying is that even Jesus can proclaim that the kingdom is here and people will not listen. That you can go as much as you want and proclaim the message and people will not listen. And I'm sitting there going like, man, this is the most depressing sermon I've ever heard in my life. Like, no one, hey, happy Sunday, no one's paying attention, peace. Like, no. And I'm sitting there and I'm fighting and I'm trying to figure this out. I'm like, man, what is going on here? Like, how does this work? Like, what is it about this? What's this part that I need to figure out here? Like, what is it? What is it? What is it? Like, how does this work? How does this make sense? How is this encouraging to us? How do we get something out of this? And it sits me as I'm sitting there reading this, and it's this final line that Jesus says, and he says this, verse 19, the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, look at him, a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners, yet wisdom is justified by her deeds. Yet wisdom is justified by her deeds. Luke 7 tells this story verbatim. It writes it exactly the same, except for this final line. It's changed, and it says, yet wisdom is justified by her children. Wisdom is justified by her children. And right there, when I read that, boom, it snapped with me, and I'm going, man, this is crazy. This makes sense now. And this is what it is. So all of a sudden, you have all of these children who don't want to participate in the message that Jesus is talking about because they're critiquing him, they're criticizing him for eating with people who he shouldn't be eating with. They say that he's a glutton, that he's a drunkard, he's a friend of tax collectors and sinners. He's a friend of tax collectors and sinners. And the whole situation is he is preaching to thousands of people and they are not paying attention. But the beauty of this is that there's someone who was. There's someone who was. The thing that justifies his action as wise is the thing that they are critiquing him about. That he's hanging out with the sinners. He's hanging out with the tax collectors. And who's the one who wrote the gospel? A tax collector. A man who would write this book and change the face of the planet forever. Because he was doing something that everybody else critiqued him for, and it wasn't his ego, but it was their eternity. And the beauty of all of this is when you look at all of these individuals who you tell Jesus about and they do not listen, they do not listen, they do not listen, you are feeling discouraged, you are feeling disappointed, and you go, no one's paying attention, there might be one who is. And if 1,000 people do not listen to you and one does, it's worth it.